This is my first time with Sean on set.
Hey,
What's going on?
not much, but you know, good. So we're recording right now. So is this like we can use this for an outtake?
Oh, okay. No, I'm ready to go.
You ready to go?
Ready.
All right.
It's the Social Drinkers Podcast.
Welcome to the Social Drinkers Podcast. I'm Lou.
I'm Sean P.
And I'm the poet Ontario Smith, better known as Oso. Hey, everybody.
Man, glad to have you on here. So I initially not found that implies that you've been lost, but I encountered this man's poetry on TikTok, and that kind of led to us having a little bit of an exchange, and he just seemed like somebody I really thought would. I think y'all might want to hear his story. And it also kind of hammers home the importance of social media is used properly. You can learn things, you can meet people, you can exchange ideas. And some of this bullshit that we have to go through.
True.
You can ignore that. I like some of the bullshit too, the twerking and all, I don't mind that. But there's a bigger purpose for it. So glad to have you on the show.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Outstanding.
So outside of that, let's talk about you being such a awesome poet. I'm sorry, awesome poet.
Thank you. Well, it was a God-given gift that I discovered while doing 25 years in prison. The large portion of my time was at Angola State Prison in Louisiana, and the latter part was at David Wade Correctional Facility in Homer, Louisiana. And again, like I said, it's just an honor and a privilege to be with you all this evening. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So I do want to get a little bit of background. So if you can share a little bit about your background, where did you grow up?
Oh man, I'm about to tell my age here.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Originally, my mother and father were Shreveport, Louisiana, is our hometown. By way of Kansas City, Missouri. A majority of my formative years were in Kansas City. I graduated from Bingham High Middle School, junior high, then Southwest in 1995. I'm a class of 95, y'all. Okay. And then from there, in the process of that, had my first child when I was 16. And then, just life starts life. And if you're a 90s baby, you know what the climate was like.
Well, tell us a little bit about that. So you had your first kid at 16.
Right.
Which is, I'm a little bit older than you, but it's kind of par for the course for our generation, especially.
Okay.
All right. What allowed you the freedom to be able to get into that situation, or better yet, how were you brought up? Was it in a strict environment and you just kind of just did your own thing and things happened?
Honestly, I come from a middle-class family. My father, 22-year veteran of military, Army branch. Army branch.
Okay, yeah, Navy. Yeah.
Right. My mother, she worked the same job for 50 years. 50 years. Myers Dental Clinic right there on 55th and Prospect.
Okay.
And
in Louisiana.
And in Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City, okay.
Kansas City, Missouri. My mother and father have been married for over 50 years. Matter of fact, my mother just celebrated her 72nd birthday, New Year's Day.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Definitely.
See, we're respectful.
And so in regards to my background and my upbringing, I was raised in the church. If any of y'all know anything about Vacation Bible School, BTU, Wednesday night
Now, see, I was raised Catholic,
Bible
so
study.
We didn't do all of that.
Oh,
but I am familiar with because I know people that.
Right.
That was going to be my next question. Like, what did you have like a religious background? But you answered.
We was raised Baptist. I was on the usher board. You had a choice: either you're gonna go to Sunday school, you're gonna go to church. Try to do the Sunday school thing, but never could come up with the right amount of change for the collection. So
Well, you was coming up short?
not so much coming up short. We were just allocating those funds in different areas, such as now and laters, and
Yeah. You were
Right.
diversifying
we
your
were
funds.
right. We were diversified.
Smart man. But anyway.
But nonetheless, my mother and my father were strong on education. But I think it was just more the fact that I was also by my father being overseas, doing quite a few tours. Later on in life, I mean, even though I knew and understood then, but not at the magnitude as a man that I understand the sacrifices that my mother and father endured in order for me to have the opportunities that I did have. I've been speaking for as long as I can remember. By nature, I'm loquacious, but more importantly, my mother wanted to make sure that me and my brother had some form of male figures and a solid educational structure in regards to the influences she wanted us to have. But like we understand now as adults and as parents, life be lifing, and sometimes you just don't see or have really the time to really pay attention acutely to what your kids got going on. I'm a generation of latchkey kids where you had a key around your neck.
That's almost illegal now, though, right?
Oh, man.
Is it? Depends on the state.
Well, so what do you think is a proper age to leave your kid alone?
Let me say this. I'm from Pennsylvania, and when
Okay.
I looked it up, it's up to the parent to determine whether or not you think your kid is mature or not.
Okay, but not legally.
So you
but
get to pick. Well, yeah, you get to pick the age. I mean, it's on you what
You
happens,
personally.
but
You personally.
yes, like if
You.
you, right, as the parent. So
no,
like,
no. You tell me what you think is the appropriate age. To
oh,
leave your
okay,
kid alone.
I can't say that because every kid is different.
Okay,
Like my
so-
kid may have been mature at 8.
So I'll tell you this. For a little while, I was a single father.
Okay.
All right. And no shade to his mom, but she was great. She just allowed me to have him until I got married, and he was in a 2-parent household. But when it was just me and him, there'll be times, okay, I'm going to run your bath water, and I'm going to run down here. Because I didn't have a car at the time. I had to walk pretty good distance to get us some actual food and bring it home. And he was 3. And but we yeah, I got you.
I'm not judging.
No, I mean,
I'm not judging.
and it's too late. The nigga finna be 21 in March, so I mean, it
What's the
wasn't.
TikTok? We listen and we don't judge.
So he was about 3.5 or whatever, and the agreement was, I'm running your bath water. Go ahead and take your bath, and I'll be right back. And so usually by the time he got out the tub, I was back home. Now, if the police had shown up.
Yeah.
So it would be an issue, but also like you said, and I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just being real with you. Sometimes we do things as a single parent that you probably shouldn't do. So that's why I asked you what is an appropriate age, because I really push that boundary in order to make sure that. But to this day, me and my son are like this. It's always been that type of thing.
And look, I can honestly say, even though my pops was, he was away, it was only here recently that I was speaking and was speaking with family at an event, and my nephew had made the statement that even though his father was away, it was never the distance, but it was always the reach of the connection that he had with his father, and it really resonated with me. And for us to have this conversation now only reaffirms that to be true, because me and my pops, I mean, hell, he's the one that brought me here this evening, and he was also there to pick me up when I was released from prison. He was also in the room when I was born.
Right.
So those things, those moments of connection, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to break. It can only fortify. And you say your son was 3 years old, to have that type of understanding to communicate like, hey, okay, you 3, but you're going on 30. You do yours, and I'ma do mine, and
Yeah,
we
because the
gonna
argument can be made that I push him a little too fast, but also by the same token, I know my son.
Right.
And so, it's, it's just something that I judged that I felt comfortable doing. It's going to benefit the both of us, and I did it.
It's great.
Now, since we are on kids, I know you said you had your first child at 16. So prior to prison, how many kids did you have going in?
When I went in, I had 3.
Okay.
Funny story. My child's mother came to pay me a visit shortly after, shortly before I started going to trial and getting my time, and those in bondage, loved ones in bondage, she knew what I needed, and she was there for me.
Right.
She was there for me. Like a good woman, she was there for me, and like a good mother, she has always been there for me as well as my kids, and she has done a phenomenal job. She's married. She's married now, and man, they have a beautiful family, and she's a Leo.
Shout out to the Leos.
Shout out to the Leos. She's very tenacious. She's smart, but more importantly, thanks to my mother and my father, I knew that I chose well at an early age. All of my children are by that young lady, and I also had 3 beautiful grandchildren. Oh man. 3 beautiful. I have two granddaughters, Sayla and Imani, and I have 1 grandson, King.
Nice. Now, your children, all boys and girls?
I have 2 daughters.
Okay.
My oldest daughter, Chanel, creative, beautiful, smart, just like her mother. And my youngest daughter, Faith. Faith is our adorable, inquisitive bookworm. So proud of her. She's the first on I know on my side of the family to graduate from college, and just a few more months and I would have been able to see her graduate from Valdosta College in Georgia. And
Nice.
Just so proud of her, as well as I have my son, my oldest, and my firstborn, Terrion. He's a phenomenal father.
Nice.
And I can't help but be so proud that of how he handles his business as a man, even though I wasn't there to really show him. But thanks to my family and close friends and associates, they were able to tell the stories of what their father was like. So I really appreciate just the development of how things turned out. Really appreciate that. Thank you for asking me about my kids. I love talking about my kids.
I know. I figure that's important, to
Definitely.
parents. Yeah. So, but could you walk us through the events that led to your incarceration?
Okay.
Because it seems like you have a pretty easy kind of upbringing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
so-
kind of let us know what the charges were and how did
no
you feel
problem.
when you got sentenced and you heard 25 years?
Oh, man. September 16th, 1997. My uncle and my aunt, as well as myself, traveled from Shreveport, Louisiana to Grambling. In the process, funny story, we got hit by a bus. Devastating. So now, but this just go to show you what desperate people do, desperate things. And what I mean by that, we just didn't take time out to see that no matter the situation, you always have options. And so 1997 in September 16th, as a matter of fact, we traveled from Shreveport, Louisiana to Grambling, and we robbed the Grambling Federal Credit Union.
What was the thought process behind that?
My aunt and uncle had just opened a business, And the solid investor decided to pull out at the last minute. My aunt and uncle had recently just got married, recently bought a home, and they have a family.
Right.
And newlyweds, they have a dream. They're heavily invested in their now as well as their future at the time. Me, on the other hand, I'm in Kansas City kicking up dust because I was also in the spirit and the mindset of desperation. I was a young father, even though I had a high school education, but I also had a scholarly ego in regards to this is what a man's supposed to do. He's supposed to take care of his family by any means or whatnot.
Right.
But at the same token, still having childlike desires and not
So
the
a
discipline
regular
to
job
save.
wouldn't just cut it. I need a chunk.
No, we got to get that bread.
I get it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, at that time, like I said, I come from the school of thought of the intelligent thug. We had, you rocking jabos, you fresh. I mean, these kids, they talking
Jim
about.
Bowles, you taking it
You know
back.
what I'm saying? And it was all about being young and having your own and taking care of your own. However, not understanding really what all comes with that. And so at this, it was just the spirit of desperation, just across the lines. And me, my uncle, and my aunt, we just we connected on that frequency.
Right.
And by me, so got in some trouble in Kansas City by me coming from a close-knit family. My uncle, by the way, is my mother's youngest brother. I did not know that he was my uncle till after I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old. So we've always been close, my uncle and I. So
So what did you think? He was a cousin?
no, a brother.
Oh.
A brother. That's how close in age we were,
Okay.
and we lived together for a large period of time. So we he needed my assistance, and at that time, be honest with you, even though I knew and I was mindful of the responsibilities I had, my actions didn't display that. Basically, it didn't know what I get into from here to that wall over there. So it was just, when people really don't care, you just really don't care.
Right.
And sometimes we don't maybe not say it, but through our actions, it shows what our true intentions are.
Right.
So out of desperation as well as loyalty, me and my family members, we devised a plan to rob this credit union for them to be able to pay their investors in order to invest and move their dream forward in their clothing store, which was named Culture at the time. And however, when you don't plan well, you shouldn't expect fruitful endings.
Because I was going to ask, how much did y'all actually expect to get? How much did y'all actually plan to get out of this thing? Splitting it, what, 4 ways?
No, just three.
Three ways.
But more importantly, it was it really wasn't a plan. It was just like, hey, let's just, and we just, basically if the early bird get the worm, you good. However, sometimes traps are designed to look as though you can get away.
Yeah.
And being blinded by your own desperation, you don't see the blues clues that you're about to lose. So go in the bank, do what we do, not realizing the proximity of the credit union and the police station were extremely close, and not taking in consideration, once again, spoiler alert, I told you we had gotten into a car accident with a school bus.
Oh, and that was after the robbery?
This was before the robbery. Again, desperation to have you thinking really ludicrous
reschedule
thoughts.
Right, and that might have been God's
It
warning.
was all about go,
Yeah.
go, go. But then I'm so glad I'm so glad you said that. When two or more together, so is he. God gives you all the signs to let you know that you're going down the wrong road.
Yep.
He hits you with a whisper. That's your conscience. Everybody in the car thought it, but then nobody say it.
Yeah.
Then we get hit by a school bus. Well, matter of fact, it was something. But anyway, we get that. I mean, that's a cold-blooded sign. Like, hey, man, the bar is closed.
Yeah, that was
And
God
just
trying to
like,
deter you at that moment.
But this is the crazy part, and I don't mind. I have no problem with laughing at myself. So after the accident, the police come, do the report, and we gone about our way. When we could, like, hey, you want to go to the hospital? Well, that's the insurance money right there. But no, we just trying to. Now we're nervous because we got some paraphernalia that shouldn't be in the car accident. Car crash site. So with the authorities there, so we trying to get on out of there. Still nobody don't say nothing. So we're like, man, well, the thing moving. Like, shit, man. Hell, what we gonna get, man? We can just get another car or something.
So let me ask you this. Did it ever cross your mind to maybe like say, you know what, let's not do this, but you felt like you needed to because of loyalty? Because loyalty can be a dangerous thing.
Again, we everybody thought it. Everyone thought it. And in the process of doing that, it was the loyalty of Omerta unofficially, because no one wanted to go against the family.
Right.
And we all, man, you know, hey, that's what families do sometimes. Sometimes we have to do things that we really don't want to do, that's not a direct reflection of our moral compass. But at the same token, we got babies. We got businesses.
So
we got dreams.
You can justify it.
We can justify
it.
Yeah, we can justify it in our own minds, because my aunt, beautiful lady, Aunt Peggy, she said it best. You would never get anything good out of doing something wrong.
Right.
It doesn't weigh out in the balance. And so shortly thereafter, us pulling off the caper, we end up getting accosted by the same officers that took the police report at the car crash. Like I said, God has a very,
I remember y'all.
So that's what you guys were on your way to do.
God has a very uncanny sense of humor.
Yeah.
And so we languished in the parish jail, Lincoln Parish Jail, for 2 years. Went through several lawyers, and ultimately, even though we were in the wrong, we saw a whole lot of conspiracies. I was sentenced to 45 years. My uncle, he was sentenced to 60 years, and my aunt, she was facing 244 years.
So that was for your first?
Yes, I was a first offender.
All three of y'all?
Yes.
Why such a large sentence for your aunt? All of y'all, but specifically the 240 years.
It came out later that the DA's office had a major vendetta against my aunt, because she's a beautiful woman. She's a high yellow with the curly hair, and not only is she educated, she's a Grambling graduate. She's very educated. She's an author. She's a mother of six boys that she raised all on her own, and she was just she is definitely the prototype of a strong black woman that was standing with her man and for her man to bring him home, regardless of the actions. Years later, she kept her word. She stayed with my uncle for 21 years, and she brought him home after she did her time. And after he came home, they pushed an act that my uncle found in the law libraries of Angola. And it was with 7 simple words. Basically, no other law notwithstanding. And Act 122 was on the books thanks to my aunt and my uncle pushing it forward with their nonprofit organization, PDM NOLA. They teach and assist average day citizens and educate them on participatory defense because being ex-cons, they know firsthand that mass incarceration is a real deal. It's a real thing. And so once the act was passed, 2 months later, I received notification of eligibility for parole. In that time, PDM NOLA, the nonprofit that my aunt and uncle had founded, put my package together, and they really supported me through the judicial cycles as well as with moral support. And I came home June 6, 2022. And now here I am today, a little over going on 3 years, business owner, home owner, single. All my kids are grown.
And you're on the Social Drinkers podcast. So.
Right.
Indeed, pushing the purpose to educate my people by using my God-given talent of spoken word poetry to not only share my story, but to encourage others to let them know that your story is your glory, and it's the greatest gift that God could ever give you.
So you mentioned the spoken word poetry. What type of, do you have an example of what it is that you do that has been inspired by everything you've been through?
Oh, man. Well, let me lay a few facts on you.
Okay.
You see, I was born underwater with $3.06. Experiencing life in the times of beats and rhymes, feeling the warmth of the sun as I look into a pair of eyes that were just like mine. But in a flash of light, what I saw was out of sight, for you see, time has stood still. It has taken its toll. Neither effervescent nor predestined, but you see, I was called to stand for a crime against this land, man. The slug from a judge brought tears to my eyes because I flatly refused to compromise.
Okay.
Now doing 85 or 45, you figured I had 9 lives, though sadly said, I'm just living amongst the dead. For you see, I view brothers old as my dad, boasting about what Lil Wayne said, but in the same breath, they crying for another chance. Come on, man. This thing is real. Them folks ain't playing. Instead, they praying you continue gaming yourselves while they build more jails by abusing the multi-bill. I need you all to just pay attention. For what I'm kicking and spitting is all fact and not fiction. Now allow me to travel and dabble in your mind state from back around 88 to the present day. For you see, the urban community has been shook up by many social quakes like Reaganomics, Planned Parenthood, Just Say No, the hip-hop invades to AIDS and Rodney King and O.J. Simpson. Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention. For everything that I'm sharing with you is all fact and not fiction. A democracy. A democracy is what we live under, but isn't reciprocity supposed to be more than just a 40-year gesture to the African community? Allow me to perceive as giving to foreigners and refugees who smuggle themselves across the seas with a sensory reprieve to live tax-free limitly for a 5-year spree. Check the consensus. We're no longer the majority of the minority, so clearly I see us being winged out by the hierarchy to the point of being extinct. Through natural life sentences or waging wars in our communities, only to die senselessly in the streets before completing the season of our 20s. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to be conscious. I need you to stay conscious, for everything that I just shared with you this evening has all been fact and not fiction.
Brother.
Thank you.
No.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you.
So, that was amazing.
Thank you.
First of all, were you couple of questions. Were you writing like that? Was your mindset anywhere close to like that before you went in?
No. I've always had an insatiable appetite to learn and to read, but in regards to poetry and expressing myself in such a way, no indeed, no indeed. Small little tidbit. The first 4 years of my incarceration, I didn't speak. I didn't call home. I just I had to. I'm a Libra. I had to still myself in order to understand what was going on. It's not like
You had to still yourself to
Right.
feel yourself.
right. It's the clarity is truly achieved in moments of solitude. Look at our monasteries. Look at our higher branches of education. They're very clinical and designed that way for you to focus on you and to through osmosis almost you become what you study.
Right.
And in order to truly be of service, once you master what it is, because understand that all of what you have is not just for you. It's
Right,
not.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I love how Erykah Badu say, "Man, please don't name no buildings after me." If anything, true success is when you're able to leave a successor to tell the story. I'm gonna put on my robe and tell the story of how I made it over. He's 21 years old today. Soon as I get home. When you get home, then you realize how appreciated you are and what you appreciated while you were there. But sometimes we all need to be stripped of what we forget the value of it is.
Right.
Some of us, we sacrifice a lot. I've met men that through moments of passion lost or forfeited everything. And in the state of Louisiana, life means life. Man.
Now I put a pin in something because I was listening to the story. It sounded familiar. Was there a documentary on your eye?
Yes, ma'am. It was the most nominated documentary of 2020 or 21 called Time.
I watched it.
Currently, Time 2 is past post-production. It has been screened in several festivals. They just had a screening in Shreveport, Louisiana at the Robinson Film Theater December 6th. And the reviews just continue to pour in for them, and I can't be any happier for what they've created and continue to educate the public through the story, and I'm just so grateful.
It's so funny how God works because I literally watched that documentary, and now here it is. I'm sitting here talking to you, so I'm getting your side of the story, which is pretty cool.
Right.
Indeed. It's definitely an exclusive. This is my first interview ever. Everyone always wanted to know what happened to the nephew. Hi.
There's a nephew. And the thing is, I have not seen that. Now I'm kicking myself in the ass because I wish I would have seen the.
You're pretty tall.
Huh? I wish I would have seen the. Damn, that's too low. I wish I would have seen the episode. So the documentary. So now I want to.
Yeah, it was
man,
really
you
good,
can,
and I'm just like, and this is not scripted. Like,
Oh, you
but
can
I
find it.
remember a lot
just
of
realizing that.
right because I was listening from the moment when he started describing his aunt and the background of everything that went down. I'm like, this sounds like a documentary I watched.
Okay.
I've never, like I said, I've never been one to chase fame. I love my family, and I love my anonymity. And when and I truly believe that the universe wants my presence to be known in a more vivid light than it will be. But right now, this is my purpose, and my favorite word is serendipitous. So how serendipitous is this that you recently saw it? You can find it on Amazon
What is
Prime.
the name of it?
It's called Time, Time.
Okay.
You can find it on Amazon Prime.
I'll watch it literally tonight.
You can watch it tonight on Amazon Prime, and soon you'll be able to see it. Lord say the same in theaters all over the country. We just continue to stay prayerful that they bless the Lord bless our family to allow it to go in mass distribution.
And let me say this: I was angry because I felt like the time did not match the crime.
So that's the 240 that I asked about.
Yeah, so I mean,
That's just-
me on the outside looking, like watching it, I was like, "Are you serious?" Like I
Well,
wasn't okay with it.
It's true, and a lot of our citizens, not just in Louisiana, but in all states, it's just a normal. Unfortunately, it's sad to say, it's just a normal thing that nothing concerns you until it concerns you.
Right.
And however, I'm just thankful that at least I can lend my voice and my talents in regards to shedding light as well as educating the people on that we are at war. We've always been at war as minorities in America, in this country, in our individual states. And unfortunately, it has become so pervasive that we continue to turn on ourselves, not speaking up when we need to speak up when we see an injustice. So it can't be one-sided. Martin Luther King said it best: an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere.
Right.
And but more importantly, the most unjustifiable act we've as individuals and as taxpayer citizens is that we're not educating ourselves. We're willingly deciding not to be educated on what should we do when we get pulled over by police.
Right.
Not having these conversations at the dinner table and letting it be known that it's important. It's important that once our children and once we step out of our homes, understand we are on a battlefield. We are on a battlefield of to be attacked from every angle with every ism: racism, sexism, classism, you name it. But at the end of the day, all we want to do is have a nice meal, come to a clean environment with educated children who've been facilitated to by individuals that actually care.
Right.
And be willing. I have yet to hear a news story that a teacher came to the projects, you know what I'm saying, looking for her students. No.
Yeah,
It's not happening. That's why we have to.
They do that. They do that
in the movies, but
I just never thought the human connection or the spirit of empathy would be you can't even get it on Wi-Fi.
Right.
And it's disappointing.
yeah, we have to be responsible to educate ourselves. They're not going to do it. It's always been that way. So we have to start teaching certain things in the household. You know, like learning different laws. Start teaching it to your children. Same thing with things like, as you'll go to school, they're not teaching you the things you really need to know, like finance, credit, things that are going to make you better, the things that you're going to use. Like they're going to teach you algebra. How many jobs do you use algebra for? Not many. I mean, yeah, but everybody is not going to work in construction.
Yeah, we were brought up to, teachers would tell us, you're not going to have a calculator on you at all times. You're not going to. I'm like, well, actually, I do. And not only that, the calculations are done for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I'm not discounting math. Math is important.
It's logic.
But we have to teach children how to think critically. And I think that's missing.
Right.
Even the way that they kind of handle teachers now, they don't have the latitude to teach the way that they want to be, that they want to teach. It has to train them to, or prepare them to take the test in order to move on to the next level. And I think that's the issue with, there's no spontaneity left anymore in education. Children are bored because it's so regimented, and it's not what it used to be.
Right.
Yeah.
They have a set curriculum.
Yeah.
And it's not the things that we're going to need to advance as a people.
Right.
It has to be done in the household.
I think two points. Listening to both of you. One is what will be an impactful way to extend, to show, or to let folks know this is important. Being educated about the law is important. Don't wait till you need a bail bondsman. When is it? What would be an effective way to, like, hey man, learning the law, learning the basic laws are important, as well as with teachers. What will be an impactful way to give them the incentive to care more?
Who, teachers?
Yes, sir.
No, I think they care. I think they're restricted by what they can do.
Right.
And so what they can't pick up in schools is, it's on your parents to try to teach you now. If the kids come home, and really depend on your parents, they just may not know. Yeah. But I don't think it's the teachers. I know I have 6 teachers in my immediate family, and I know 2 teachers that aren't in my family, but I just know them. And from what they tell me is they spend their own money. And they take all the extra time they can to teach children and expose them to certain things. We used to go on field trips sponsored by a specific teacher on the weekend. And I don't know if that's going on now, but when it comes to class time, there are things that they have to do in order to satisfy requirements that the state has put on them or that the school has put on them. And so, again, it's loss of spontaneity. If there's something that a unique teacher or a special teacher can offer students, they don't have the time or the capacity to be able to, to push that on them.
Right.
And let me say this. We live in a time now where you can create your own courses. So if that's something that's important to you, there's like lots of platforms. Like you can even go on TikTok and say, listen.
They have a STEM.
Yeah, it's so many things now for us to educate ourselves. Like I can't think of the actual site right now, but I'll get back to you later. But you can create your own course. Now, is everybody going to tune in?
No.
Absolutely not. But if you figure if you help 3 people, that still matters,
Yeah, all it takes is one.
Yeah, so unfortunately, and well, not unfortunately, the way I look at it, our own well-being, whether it be financially or whatever, is on us to make it happen.
Right.
Now, as adults, it's on us completely. When it comes to our children, if there's something that you're lacking, I wouldn't. There are things I'm not able to teach my son, math being one of them.
Okay.
And I have to put him in a position, whether I have to pay it or put him in the right environment to learn math better. I think I can teach him everything else. Every parent has their deficiencies, and there's some things that you just can't teach children.
Right.
But as adults, they're more than ever, it's no excuse not to learn the things that you need to learn. With the exception of math. And I'm saying that because it's very difficult to learn that, but we were talking about skills.
Right.
Ideology. Just there's lots of ways that you can explore how to better yourself. And some things will stick, some won't. But you have the resources now. When I was young, growing up, we had the Encyclopedia Britannica.
We had the whole collection.
And then after a couple of years,
Man, I used to
3 or 4 years, that's irrelevant. You got to buy a whole nother set.
True.
Now I have all of that times 1,000 in my pocket at all times. And so it's kind of difficult to hold teachers solely accountable. I just have a soft spot for teachers, but it's hold them solely accountable for what it is that children lack when you have the parents as well as all these other resources at their disposal.
Right.
So.
I remember back in the day, you know, mama used to give you a list and give you some change, and you got to go down there. You're going to catch that city bus, and you're going to pay that water bill. You're going to go down there to the light company, boom, you're going to honey, you're going to get this to them. You're going to count that change out. Make sure your brother count that change right. Get the receipt, boom. Navigating the world. Now, like you said, everything is right in your pocket, so you don't need to go anywhere.
Right.
And which also is indicative of a lack of human interaction.
Yeah.
So, like I said, even though, I mean, what's the old saying? Technology has a way of making the world a little soft.
Yeah. Soft. They say
And
stupid.
detached.
And everything.
And
Yeah.
detached. But that doesn't mean that they're not concerned. But it's just that just the level of urgency needs to be increased on some of our hotbed issues, such as education, equal pay for men and women, and a clean and safe environment.
Well, let me be devil's advocate. You don't think women get equal pay?
They never. A woman would never get what she truly deserves.
What does she deserve?
She deserves to see her work. It needs to be somewhere on the application as well as engaged during the interview process. You got to understand the majority of women are gainfully employed. Rarely do they miss work. However, for men, unemployment and the search for employment as well as higher education, they are faced with a little bit more stringent challenges.
I was gonna mention that.
Yeah.
A lot of the jobs that men work
Right.
things that women won't do.
Right. And then
we tend to work longer hours.
we have to we work longer hours more times than not, based upon the professional hazards or the degree of education. Most of our women, all non-white, have more than one degree, or they have a degree plus a trade, and they have transferable skills across the board solely because they're women. Most women know how to interact and be team players, and they're punctual. They're punctual. They wouldn't if they took shots all night. I ain't about to lose my job. You know, they may be late, but they ain't gonna lose it. And the reason why I can say that, because even though my mother was married and her husband was in the military, but she still had to do and fill in the gap while Pop wasn't around.
Right.
Protector, disciplinarian, educator, chef, Boy Scout, mama, we need some cookies. We need some cookies you know, all that.
Yeah.
Or at the last moment, can Taiwan spend the night? Too late. He had the dough, got the bag.
Now Taiwan in there sleep already.
Now he in there, man. I mean, we out there playing video games and whatnot. But yeah, just as well as a lot of parents care but don't have the time to stop and go up to the school, you know, little pop-ups. Like, man, who mama that is? I'm just checking. They ain't got time. If they call me, trust me, she gonna check in. But other than that, boom, no news is good news. Your job is to go to school. My job is to pay the bills until you able to pay the bills for all of us.
So let me ask you this. So they say that prison is supposed to be a form of rehab. For you, would you say it was rehab, or would you say it was punishment, or a combination of the two?
Rehabilitation.
I can honestly say, prison is definitely a process, and it's defined in two ways: punishment or correction. It's only punishment if you refuse to learn your lessons. But also prison is life stripped of all creature comforts and amenities of free society. However, it's also demeaning because once you fall to the dominion of someone else over you in regards to authority, 24 hours a day, and solely for the fact to remind you of what you've done and not what you're planning on
What
doing.
you're capable of doing.
Right.
Was it hard for you to acclimate?
It's hard. It's, to be honest with you, it's hard for anyone, especially first offenders, especially young first offenders. When I say it's hard, it's just a culture change, because the same people you see at the Circle K or the Whataburger, then the same men and women that got the prison blues and the white T-shirts on.
Right.
The characters don't change.
Right.
Now, the thing is about prison is that everything is up to you now. Everything is up to you in regards to saying that you can continue to be who and what you are before you came, or life will teach you to change, but it's the quality of change that you make. Everything is on you. They have education. They have the law library.
You took advantage of that.
I took advantage of it once I started to understand what was important to me at the time.
Right.
Me having a strong sense of myself, I knew that I had to get a grasp on where I was at. You got to keep in mind, even though my family is from Louisiana, I'm a military brat. I've been to different countries and all this before I was 13 years old. And so now, even though I'm a black man, a young black man, I'm far away from home. Even though I know how to interact with anyone, I mean, I'm an air sign. So,
Right.
but I also know that I ain't no angel. Earlier, I told you I had kicked up some dust out of desperation up north. Then I come down here without any qualms, all out of loyalty. My family say they needed some help and they want to put some work in. So I'm like, okay. So I don't never want anyone to ever think that I'm a goody two shoes, nothing like that. I just know that I just know what's good and what's not good for me. And in the process of doing that, like, again, I just try to share some of my life lessons through my conversations.
Real quick, not to cut you off,
please.
but I got a little taste of the county jail in Harris County. And at the time, it was the 10th floor, is a gladiator floor. That's what they called it. It was just young people. I think the oldest was maybe 22, 23. Other than that, it's like maybe 15 on up. So it was wild. Yeah, I did some silly shit. Nothing major, wasn't no felony or anything like that, but it was still a county offense, and I spent 4 days in that motherfucker. When I got out, I was like, I will never, ever put myself in a position. And what I did was, me and a couple of my partners stole some beer. We just ran out of store with it, and the police caught us. And unfortunately, that's a crime. You know, we did it so much we thought it was a game. You know.
Oh, that wasn't the first time.
Oh no, I did it probably maybe.
You usually don't get caught the first time.
Yeah, we did it all the. I mean, we literally did it all the time. Whenever we wanted something, we talking about 16, 17. Anytime we wanted something to drink, we just. They drop us off at the store. They drive like half a block down the street. We go in, grab a beer, walk like we're going to the counter, and just run out. It's called Wahooing. And just run down the block, hop in the car, and we go. Hey, we got beer. Or MD 2020, whatever it is that we want to drink. But this time we ran out, and the cops just happened to be coming down the street. It just happened. This is just like a coincidence. At any rate, So I learned my lesson off of something that wasn't that severe, right? My experience with it wasn't very positive. I didn't get jumped or nothing like that, but it's steel, concrete, lack of freedom. It was the worst thing I could possibly imagine, and that kind of shaped how I move for the rest of my life. Do you think that if something similar happened to you before you got that call to come in and assist your family, that you would have still done it?
I can honestly say no. And the reason being because I'm a first offender as an adult.
Yeah.
Right. I also had a juvenile record. See, the caper you
Okay.
pulled off, I that and quite a few other things that
Right.
I'm not proud of. But
Same here.
but at the same token, it was it's all my life though. For some strange reason, it seemed like when I do fuck up, I fuck up big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, puppy love, my first true love. Bam! Next thing you know, you a daddy. I'm like, damn.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm
how the
like,
hell you do that
I
shit?
just like, you know what I'm saying? I knew it was.
Potent sperm
Yeah, I
ass.
knew it was working. I just didn't know it was going. You know, I thought
Yeah,
you
that's
had like
how
a
sperm
trial
work, man.
period. You know, just
Right, you thought it was a trial period?
yeah, you know, you kind of. But it's
That's
like,
funny.
man.
So I grew up in the AIDS era.
Right.
And so, yeah, chick probably wasn't going to give you none without a.
Yeah.
And so we just, I think that
glad.
saved me from becoming a teenage dad, you know, but
Yeah. More importantly, I'm just glad that she chose me.
yeah.
And
And you had all three of your kids by one woman.
man, it's beautiful.
I
Ain't
I
God
can't
good?
say that. I got about two different ones. So,
Well,
you know.
sometimes, hey,
So we lack in some areas. It depends on the individual.
it ain't never about the start. It's always about the end, brother.
Absolutely. So, you know, what do you say? We look, we don't judge. No, we listen.
We listen,
Yeah.
but we don't judge.
Yeah. So,
I
Well,
appreciate
you
it.
don't have 8 baby mamas.
well, yeah. Please don't judge me because
Yeah,
I am not the paragon
Listen,
of virtue.
please.
Definitely.
So, what would you say is something that you learned about yourself while being in prison that you didn't know about yourself prior?
I would have to say that I was stronger than I thought I'd be. Again, life has a way. Life will always let you know who you are, no matter where you are. But at the same token, as you continue to evolve, learn to appreciate where you've been, and that has really. It took, I mean, most people when they come out of prison, their family members or whoever receives them, I always tell them, hey, now that's in the past. You just leave that back there. It's easier said than done. The guys that I've met and the things that I've seen and things that I've learned about myself. Keep in mind, I caught my charge. I was 20 years old, even though my birthday's in October. So I turned 21 on my birth. I turned 21 in the parish jail, and after 25 years, when a few months after I turned 45, I came home. So that's a nice little gap. And anytime you do anything repetitively, you get familiar with it. I got familiar with several of my bed partners. I got familiar with certain officers who've been there to the point where they give you extra trays, or they truly ask about, man, was your mom okay when she left? She seemed a little distraught. Things of that nature, based upon an individual's character and not your DOC number. Again, you are who you are, no matter where you are. But the most valuable thing I learned was really just accepting and taking my fair share of the responsibility for being where I was at, and to understand life truly doesn't happen to you. It happens for you.
Right.
And to truly be a mature individual, you got to take your lick, man. Take your lick in the sense of saying, strengthen your shortcomings. Don't abuse your strengths, and do whatever you can to be a blessing to somebody. And again, don't be judgmental, because I met people that were in there that ain't got that felt that they don't need to have any feelings, and then you have individuals that fell behind on their mortgage because they got a divorce because he found out that his wife was cheating while he was working 2 jobs. Life has a uncanny way of bringing people together from different backgrounds. But we can all learn something. But more importantly, we just need to continue to learn to be intentional to learn the lessons, and only be a victim if that's what you so choose. But don't victimize anybody with your victim mentality.
So how would you say prison affected your relationship with God? Would you say it strengthened your relationship? Thinking back, do you think that there was a time where you were angry with God?
I was totally disconnected from God until after I made parole. Again, earlier in the show, I said that true clarity comes in moments of complete solitude. 25 years, I've had at least at a minimum of 65, 68 roommates. So, but I've always leaned on the scripture that says that, thanks to my mother and father doing their best to raise me in the church, train the child the way it should go, so when he get old, he would not depart from it. I was always instilled with a moral compass. So I went to prison with that, and I stood and leaned on that. And as I got older, and once I made parole, and really had the opportunity to take my time and how I wanted to reacclimate myself to society, I've been able to reconnect with my Lord and Savior, just doing practical things, taking care of what I have, like you would in prison. We had our worldly possessions are compiled into locker boxes. Having that same tenacity and zeal to maintain my personal inventory. It's just that now I'm my own groundskeeper. I'm my own maintenance man, as far as automotive as well as household infrastructure. But I'm also the beautician and manicurist of my environment. I truly believe that in order to truly be thankful, you need to be hands-on with your gratitude. Now I understand those early Saturday mornings when moms used to put the radio on, KPRS in Kansas City, and Earth, Wind and Fire, or Sam Cooke, or Mahalia Jackson, or Marvin Gaye, and we cleaning baseboards. Well, I'm talking, you cleaning baseboards, you cleaning windows. It wasn't just to keep it clean, but it was also once you put your hands on something, and once you clean it, you have a better, more of appreciation to not want to see it filthy or to see it.
They're like the broken window theory.
Exactly.
So let me say this, because your story inspired me. So from me speaking to you last night, I was thinking, like, this man just seems like he has a great relationship with God. You seem, humble. And I was thinking back at times like, whoa, you did 25 years and you still managed to be in good spirits. And I started thinking about me. Like, there's been times where I've been mad at God for, smaller things. You know what I'm saying? And I started thinking about, sometimes I'm free, but I lived in a mental prison. Okay. So it inspired me to write something. I'm going to read it. Now, I'm not going to read it all. It's in my phone. I didn't memorize it because I wrote it last night. But Just hearing your story.
I appreciate that. Man, I'm flattered.
All right, so it's called Let Jesus Set You Free. I've never been locked away, but my mind isn't free. I was told who I am. I don't feel free to be me. I'm wearing my glasses, but I still can't see who I'm supposed to be. Blinded by my trauma, I can't seem to face it, so I get wasted or use distractions to replace it. I'm in a prison, but it's mental, locked down by things I went through. I date him because he covered his with his sin too. Mm-hmm. But one day I decided to seek Christ because somebody told me he would get me right. And now he's breaking the chains. So I am no longer hiding my tears in the rain or paralyzed by my pain. There's deliverance on the other side. So stop choosing to stay locked inside. He is handing you the key. He will bring you out, I know, because he's doing it for me.
Man.
Outstanding.
Nice.
Outstanding.
I mean, a little something I wrote in like 5 minutes. It's not, but
Nice.
you
That's
inspired that.
I appreciate that. I'm very flattered. You did a great job.
Thank you. And then also, there was a quote. I don't know if you remember the quote that you said to us yesterday. It was something about Christ. If you don't remember, it's fine, but it was really good.
Oh, I said that. I truly believe that Christ was loyal to a fault. He knew who his betrayers were. Mm-hmm. He knew way in advance because he had a direct connection with his Lord and Savior. And when you have a chosen one has a direct line to the divine. Mm. And they bless you with a strong frequency of mental and spiritual dissonance, being able to detect and decipher the intangibles, to be able to utilize the algebraic expression or equation spiritually to find the X factors. But it's disheartening that most of our X factors, those hidden variables, are the ones closest to you. Because a true demon or a true bloodsucker or energy vampire, they have to have a strong connection, and the closer they are, well, the stronger the frequency.
I agree with all of that. Mm-hmm. Is there any advice you would like to give out, I guess, that could maybe prevent people from making maybe the same mistakes?
Understanding that we all are going to face challenges. My uncle recently told me we were in California and we were climbing the mountain for exercise. And he said, understand, nephew, that there will always be mountains to climb. Mm-hmm. The thing is, the more we allow ourselves grace, patience, and be mindful of our steps as we tackle one step at a time on one particular mountain. And then when we before we can say how we got over, linger at the top. Bask in your personal accomplishments and not your ego. Mm-hmm. And as you turn around and look forward, you're asking yourself, now with this newfound knowledge of self, how can I be, or what blessing or what change can I be that I can see in the world, that I can see myself as in the world?
Nice. So before we close out, you want to tell us a little bit about what life looks like now? Like, how was your transition and what are you doing with your time now? We know you write poetry, but anything else you would like to share?
Currently, I can honestly say, even though I am a business owner, haven't made a dime.
What type of business?
I started Oso Consulting Firm of Shreveport, Louisiana, as a legitimate way or means in order to utilize my motivational speaking skills,
nice.
my poetry, to engage the public in regards to different messages dealing with our social issues, more importantly, dealing with mass incarceration, what's it called? Participatory defense on how we educate average citizens on how to navigate the judicial system. Currently, PDM NOLA has saved over 4,000 years worth of time in regards to helping and the assistance in bringing individuals home, basically through educating their family members and supporting them when they breach certain opportunities such as parole or work release. They're there with in a fortified front of solidarity, and just to let the system know that that the community is not only welcoming, but we're anticipating our brothers and sisters to come home one day.
Now, you said you haven't made a dime off of it. Is it because you're not aiming to, or because it's nonprofit?
I'm all out here by myself, no support,
Okay.
and so.
And so you
I
are
just
looking
do.
for.
I'm
You
definitely.
would appreciate some support.
I would definitely love any type of support anyone can give me, even if it's just a few words of advice or encouragement.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking to do all that I can with what I have. I know I'm very prideful. I don't really ask too much.
I get it.
I understand that this is a very monumental moment, and I remember reading in Malcolm Gladwell's book of The Tipping Point, where you really have to maximize your moments, but not do it for selfish reasons. It's for a greater purpose. We're trying to save lives, ultimately trying to change the world, and I'm serious about that.
Now, what information can you give us that can put on the screen that's going to allow people to reach out to you if they
you can find me on Facebook as Ontario Smith. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram as the Poet Ontario Smith, as well as you can cash at me with the $ Ontario Smith 76, somewhere in that order, and whatever is extended my way, it'd be greatly appreciated, and it will be disseminated or appropriated in its proper localities. Again, I thank you for all that's listening, all that tuned in, and whatever support. Like I said, even if it's just words of encouragement, definitely need that. So thank you, and just God bless you.
And how would you like to close this out? Would you like to close it out with another poem?
Oh, I would definitely. Matter of fact, this poem right here is it's my signature poem. It's what it was started. It was started the overflow of poetry.
Okay.
It's called My Lady Freedom. You see, it's one thing to empathize, but it's another to sympathize. For I know you see these tears in my eyes, for it's no surprise that I try not to disguise this pain that I feel inside. For the years that have gone by without me on your side have been hell on earth. For all of my days have been consumed with thoughts of you and the things we used to do. My nights have become silhouettes of those bygone days, but for as long as I live, I'll forever be amazed by the purity of you if it can never be restrained. Unlike me. For it's been years that my body has been subjected to shackles and chains, but it's my brain that continues to entertain thoughts of the day when you and I be able to whisper conversations. We take a walk in the rain without an umbrella, just a slicker suit and rubber boots, for old habits are hard to uproot. Now, don't think I'm stagnating in my pursuit of you. It's just that due to this environment, at times my emotions are at a conflict, for my aspirations towards you have been considered irrelevant in the mindset of this infrastructure. For subliminally, 85 times the better of me has been considered a permanent fixture, and it's to humanize society. Indeed, to be separated from you is a robbery, a Class A felony. So when they arrested me, they thought they got the best of me. Mm-hmm. And as far as the time that they gave me, it was only a test of our fidelity. And baby, we passed. So let it rain to commemorate that man can never be restrained from what is naturally gained, and to allow your thunder to bomb. For my lady freedom, here I come. Thank you.
I clapped
bro.
the last time.
Okay.
I didn't do it right.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Absolutely, brother. We're so pleased to have you in here. We don't know each other. We never met each other before today. You're not from here.
No.
You're here for personal reasons, whatever. I reached out to you, and you chose to actually take me up on an offer. That means the world to us. And we want to thank you for doing that and reaching out on faith. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Thank you.
I did so much. Been so hospitable. Thank you.
And this is what it's all about. Anybody else that want to reach out to us. But we just want to exchange ideas, share common bonds that we have, and to, just have a good time. Ultimately, we're having a good time. We've been chilling way before the camera started and all that stuff, and a little bit in between. But we're having a good time, and that's pretty much what the Social Drinkers is about. Ms. Lou.
Yeah, and please follow him on social media. Send donations, anything you can do to help, because this is a great cause.
I appreciate it. Once again, thank you for the opportunity of being here. And just to everyone that has tuned in, if you would, just one small favor, if you don't mind. Every day, step into your day in the spirit of gratitude and just do your best to try to be a blessing to somebody. Thank you, and I appreciate your time.
Good night. It's a wrap.
Peace.
It's the Social Drinkers Podcast.